our loyal listeners and new listeners. And what we're going to do, we're going to do a little bit different today. We had planned to have the Monday Night Footballers on today, but some reason, I guess they in that with their blue tent or whatever. So, but anyway, the Kansas City Chiefs, rather, will be playing the Los Angeles Raiders. I remember when they were the Oakland Raiders, and that was quite a robbery. But in the meantime, in our remembrance and dialogue deal, Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter, passed away at the age of 90. And we might want to do a little country, and they say, by God, we're going to do some country, or we're going to say much obliged, or be too glad to. But we're going to kind of open up the show about different things that have taken place, and we still are getting in touch, hopefully in touch with what's happening in our city. I know everybody's getting ready for the midterm election. Hopefully that the people will get out to vote. And hopefully your particular person that you want to win, they cannot win if you don't vote. And that means accumulated number of votes. But in the meantime, we're just going to kind of open this up. I know Mr. R. Folks had a good show, and I know Mr. Scott Owen can always, when he's not out on the bike, can always provide some very intelligent information. So who's ready to start?
I defer to Mr. Fowlkes.
Don't both of you at one time, okay?
Okay, thank you, Scott. Well, today, well, first of all, it has to be alive, and thank you, Steve, for allowing me to be a part of the program. My name is Aaron Folks. I'm the CEO of the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. And today we had our program named Lunch with Chamber of Commerce today. And I had a very lively discussion. First of all, as usual, we open by prayer in our shows, and today we allowed was outstanding as usual. And today's guest that we had was a lady I know for a number of years, Alderwoman Maureen Davis. She's been a part of our community for a number of years, held many positions. In fact, she also had a statewide position also doing assistant some years ago. She was the sponsor for the state of Missouri, kind of coordinate, the office, the offices open up, with a yeoman job. She did that very well, and also she was formerly head of our single school board here for about 3 years, and she served a 6-year term doing that, and she served 3 years as president. And now she is presently on the St. Louis Board of Aldermen, and she's been there going on about 15 or 16 years, and we had, and so she's doing many leadership committees, and she was my guest today, and I think what to, go over a lot of stuff that's taking place here in the city of St. Louis. Matter of fact, one of the big things that in the city this week, we hired, that's not week, we hired our first personnel manager for the city of St. Louis. First black female in their history since 1941. Miss Simon Gray. She's made us well-rounded, and served in the national offices, in for a while in front office, and and been very active in the community and in that position, especially as director of the St. Louis. She has a lot of responsibility, overseeing a lot of, most of all the hires for the city, and this was a contested position this time because the gentleman that was in charge of the personnel committee suddenly resigned. Actually, suddenly resigned. He retired early, and it's kind of funny. Once he retired from the job, he wanted the job back. It's one of those jobs that it's a lifetime appointment almost, because you once you're in that position, let's just use something really bad. You cannot be kicked out the job. So anyway, he retired and then tried to unretire. And so that created some chaos. And then the person that was interim person there decided to step down, which allowed the mayor to have to appoint someone for first time in a long time. The mayor has been able to appoint a personnel director. So Ms. Ray is in that position, and we look forward to her having a great impact in our community, what she brings to it. And so that's been a major thing here in St. Louis. And another thing was a major task, great thing here in St. Louis. Ms. Davis was a part of that. There was a bill passed at Board of Alderman this past week that we have a thing called automatic courtesy, whereas in any ward, the alderman is responsible for passing any bill, inducing any bill that's that's going to be doing the type of work in that area, in that ward by any kind of business, so to speak. And so there's one area here in the St. Louis area, in the Midtown area, matter of fact, there's a big old building around Highway 70, Highway 64, Highway 40, in Grand Avenue. There's called the National Guard Armory. This is a big old building. See, they probably got one in Kansas City. But back in the days, the National Guard had armories, trains, have shooting range in those buildings. Matter of fact, I was able to have several affairs in the building back in the past history. Very excited about the building being renovated. It's a multi-million dollar facility. The renovation was, and it started. The alderman previously there had just retired, and a new alderman came in, and the new alderman. They call him a progressive, but she had wanted to the developer donate money to the north side of St. Louis. This is the black community for development. Well, they had donated some money to the north St. Louis, and so then she went back for more money. But while this was going on, the cost of lumber was going up. Everything was going up. Insurance was going up, and so the project was somewhat bogged down. And so Alderman Davis was introduced to the bill because her ward was against the same area also. And they passed it this past Friday, and they got some tax abatements for it and stuff. And so there's a lot, concern about, we're breaking tradition, but it wasn't breaking tradition, just something needed to be done. And the other alderman was moving in a manner, so she was able to, do that. Kind of, on the front page of the Post past today about what took place, but she talked about that, and also we talked about, just things that she's doing about Congress. We talked also here after the program, and she wants to work with us also, and we were very much excited about that possibility taking place there. And so that's what she was about it. And also, Chuck DeBow, our CEO for the National Congress, comes on at the end of all of our programs the last half hour or so. Give us an update, on what is taking place on the national level. And we're very excited right now. And I said we're excited about what the chamber is doing about the leadership. He calls it a relaunch, of the chamber all over again. But I call it just, him handling the business at hand. The organization, first of all, the headline for our press conference was the nation's oldest and largest black trade organization formed National Black Alliance for Black Businesses. And the oldest black trade organization in the country right now is the National Congress. And we were founded, 30 years ago. And the other alliance is something that was created by Booker T. Washington years ago, back in 1900, matter of fact. And that organization is Dr. Ken Harris, and that's the National Business League that's been on the forefront of a lot of things taking place since 1900. That's seeing something there. and like I go to look at your roots times and stuff, and so for us to be able to partner with them and do endeavor, being together, like 1900 and 1993 when we got started, we consolidating. It's good for black businesses. Effectively, we give their businesses a chance that provides much success. We both say, the same political platform, historically speaking, with principles, that's going to improve businesses being able to access to capital, access to, that's one thing that we all need to have done. One of the principles that Booker T. Washington was very much adamant about was the situation in dealing with education. And Roosevelt J. Congress just this past month was able to form our first really standing committee, which is the Education Committee. And that committee just us having several paths here in the same community that each started programs for that organization. And one organization that one of our chamber is here about Reverend Larry Brown, and his organization reached out to Mr. Mark Moriel, National Urban League. I think they're in D.C., right, Washington. And he's agreed to work with the Reverend Brown's organization in providing us with financial assistance. And we try to reach out to take this from a local program to a national program for the national company, the Pastor Human Commerce, and also Reverend Clyde Compton's his organization has started a program here that's reaching out to the seniors, in the black community, in the black school system. As a matter of fact, the Center for Education has agreed to a pilot program for them to work with one of the high schools here to see how this program will work. First of all, they've been trying for a couple of years, doing it in the community, and this has got great successes. And it kind of takes away a part of GMC from the 1619 project that was had so much success and much controversy about the Black history, how we got here, and things that taking place. And he kind of goes back to the history of that, and also that was history. And now,
what you're talking about. In case you just tune in, we are kind of doing a Rush Limbaugh type deal. The original scheduled program didn't take place, but we always have very valuable information to pass on to our listeners. And just a different, he said alderman, here in Kansas City they're known as city council.
City council alderman, and they all coming together. Matter of fact, you mentioned Rush Limbaugh. If you're not aware, he came from the state of Missouri, like from the Carolina area. For better or for worse, we claim it in the state of Missouri, claim it at least, But this program that we're talking about here in education is very much in the part whatever you're doing, and we're trying to catch our youth, when they're getting out of high school, about to go to college, to introduce them to some principles about business, about education, and how they can, start thinking about it for your family. Either how let's go about their daily lives, and take responsibility. And so,
everybody, we can never be too young to be educated, and that seemed to be a problem. Even when you was talking about the historical stuff, a lot of people don't even care, and they need to care about what has happened in the past in order to what's going on today. It's not that much change, like you mentioned, 1619 project, that is being heard throughout the country of what happened back to 1619, as well as important workshop that's going to be with the United Minority Media Association's Midwest Southeast Region Conference here in Kansas City on December the 3rd, along with the Catcher, Arkansas. That's something they don't know about that happened back, the racism back in the 1900s, 1923. And St. Louis has always been outstanding in probably getting a lot of history, getting a lot of things that a lot of people might not comprehend. That's why programs such as the one that we have is something that you shouldn't miss. You can tape it if you can, and then while we're talking about that, we're not going to ignore the guy who might be out there on his three-wheel motorcycle. We want him to have some input and some things. So go ahead, Scott.
I really don't have anything going on this week that I know anything about.
Scott, we will thank you, okay, for making this program possible, because your ingenuity in your education, about, USATalkradio.com. We had tried for years, when we first got off the ground, everyone had the concept of a regular radio station, but Scott had the ingenuity in his education to make us say our mission was the internet radio. And Scott, the computer we had back then sitting in the station nobody knew how to use.
Well, thank you, Brother Ira. It's been a learning experience.
Yeah, okay, but that learning experience right now has launched us not just here in the St. Louis community, okay, but also around the world. I know my show heard about 10 to 15 countries, every week we know something like that and stuff. I know we also, in today's program, can be seen and heard live on Facebook and Twitch every week. We can be heard in our podcasts. I know if you go online, then just go to Google right now and Google launch of the commerce, we'll pop up all of our programs so you can codify there. And also the same thing, you just Google again. Yes, we're coming to Kansas City right now. And all of this program, we just pop up on the line there. So really, one of the things I take pride in, see, and I know you do this without thinking about it, that our programs pretty much offer like a newspaper approach to what happened in our cities, in our state each week. So if a person pick up, go online, get our programs, then they actually get a part of history that whole week, okay, that took place. But I know we love it that that you have brought a lot of education programs to the community, and I say that that being in the educators, the entertainment. Matter of fact, Kansas has a beautiful entertainment history, in that you have the Walk of Fame down there at the Jazz Museum also in the city.
Well, let me ask Scott this.
Yes, sir.
What is a podcast? And we say that, guess who's coming to Kansas City? My name is MC Richardson, the host and moderator. What is so important about podcasting, and what do they do? Why do we need them?
The reason we need them is because there's so many different people who have original and honest content that we need to be able to hear their different opinions and the different news that they do have. That's why podcasts developed, in my opinion, so that people could have their own voice. That's why we started Ferguson USA Hot Talk Radio.com as a internet radio station, was because a lot of people's voices just weren't getting heard. And I pride myself in giving that opportunity to whoever is wanting to give out their voice.
Well, speaking of the podcast, you said we go to 5 different countries. What countries and what do they get in that hour, say 5 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time?
Well, in the case of Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City, they get the unique story from Kansas City regarding race, regarding social status, regarding any social topic that you decide that we want to talk about. And that's not just 5 countries. It's available to all countries except for those like say North Korea that don't allow internet in their countries. So it's it's just an open forum that people get that they want to hear because that's what they're looking for. So,
Scott, you said quite a bit there in answer to the really, what you left off was you can be heard on Spotify and all anywhere you can get. You have a podcast platform. You can pick up our programs also. So really, if you want to listen to us in the middle of the night, okay, you want to go to you.
That's one of the benefits is that and I share. First of all, I share Mr. Fowlkes' show and yours with him, the link to it, so that you could play these at any time. Besides the fact that I also play scheduled on Sundays and Wednesdays. So.
Well, it's kind of go detail. They can play them anytime. What do you mean by anytime?
I mean, if you're awake trying to go to sleep at 3 o'clock, you can go to the link and listen to the podcast at any time at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want to. Or
and what is the link?
Okay, a link is on the computer. It's a way to get to a web page. So.
Well, let me get real simple, okay? Go to Google, okay? And you can just Google, guess who's coming to Kansas City on Google, okay? And if you do that, you will get, guess who's coming to Kansas City will pop up.
It will be one of the choices on the list. That's what. Yes.
And then you hit the button, okay? You hit the button, and there it is. Or if you go to Twitch and do the same thing, or you go to Facebook, Apple, any of those locations, okay, and just put in it gets to come to Kansas City, and you can be heard. But not only that, okay. You can be heard 24 hours a day, many times a day if you want to hear it.
That's
and why is that important? A lot of people, I know people work different shifts. They used to say the midnight shift or the grave shift
Sure.
or the early shift or the 3 to 11 shift. And a lot of people don't get the news. A lot of people say, well, I can't get the news. I can't get update. I can't get an update because I have to sleep sometime and work the other time.
That's true. That's why it's so important. It's like having shall we say, a CD of your favorite news, whereas you can access it at any time.
It's at your earliest convenience.
That's right. That's one of the big things about a podcast or a recorded session.
Yeah, and also when you put these programs up, I know your EMC, your programs goes back since the start of your career here on FergusonUSA.com,
which was August 2 years ago.
August 2 years ago, that any of those programs that whoever the guests were on those days, they are now available to be heard just by going in and hearing the program. They're putting it and just going back week by week, and there it is.
Okay. And you think this is something that we've been missing out? Let's go back to the educational aspect of it. How far should we go back as far as you mentioned the 1900s? You mentioned Booker T. Washington. You mentioned, why is that important? A lot of people figure, that's not important. Why should I learn about it? Give me your opinion why this is very essential for people to learn.
Well, MC, one of the things, okay, that's been said many times again, and over and over and over again, is that you need to repeat your mistakes over and over and over again if you don't know, if no one tells you that you're making a mistake. And so by us being able to have these shows available, okay, to people. You learn something that you, like I said, in the case with the NASDAQ Chamber of Commerce, with us, according with the creed, like you said, working with the Business Alliance, which I said dates back to the 1900s, but that's with Booker T. Washington. And, you people heard of Tuskegee Institute, Peace Place like that. Well, Booker T. Washington was the man behind all those type of programs. And his ingenuity that he also, what he did, he created more black millionaires than any person in history. Because, matter of fact, not only did he invent things, but also he had a school down there and taught people, and shared ideas, and which is right now is what we're doing now today, sharing our ideas with people.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the good part about this, okay, the NASDAQ Chamber of Commerce right now, that we only was around since 1993. But what happened here is that we find ourselves as being the oldest black trade organization in the country. And so by combining our efforts together, we have created probably one of the most powerful black organizations in the world right now, for black businesses right now. And that's what means a lot.
I remember Eugene Jackson from Kansas City on the Black National Network and other people, and then he teamed up with other people, but a lot of people don't understand how essential were other nationalities or other cultures. They're trying to get as many media vehicles as possible to get the word out, because if you don't tell the people, even when they used to drop flyers out to the sky, from the planes or whatever, trying to get their message across. And then we're talking about the more radio stations, the more people to get involved, and people got to understand how radio really works. It didn't just happen. It's just something that is needed, and people really put forth their best effort to make it happen. You got the different stations that might appeal, or we should say maybe media outlet might appeal to a different culture, but this is what, like in Kansas City, where the oldest station here is KPRS, a Carter broadcast, and it was a third black-owned station west of the Mississippi, but now it's the oldest, and it's the other cities they got, like St. Louis and all the surrounding cities. Now, how does this appeal, Scott, that people live in small markets and they have this radio station that maybe they don't reach that far. Maybe they only reach 3,000 miles or 1,000 miles, and some high school, maybe they only reach maybe a mile or two. How important is that?
Well, Mr. MC, the importance of local news is very big, but most of these little radio stations you're talking about also have an internet feed so that they can feed the rest of the world if they wish. So, yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Ira.
Because one thing you mentioned, those local radio stations, they do not have a 3,000-mile range, okay? Because those radio stations have a certain demographics that have been carved out for them by the FCC, that they have to stay within that bandwidth that's allotted to them. But the internet radio, okay, gives you unlimited reach.
Yes.
That's one of the benefits of the internet radio. And also, like with local radio stations, here in St. Louis, we've been fortunate to have GMOX Radio. This is one of those stations, okay, that they call, superpower station, in that at nighttime, they can be heard all over the country. And so we've been fortunate enough to have that station here in St. Louis, okay, but in case you have an emergency problem someplace, you turn to a station, okay, and they said, okay, you get broadcast stuff. But that's one of those stations like that. But most stations really will cover maybe 10 or 20 or 30, 40 miles at the most. Some of them 100 miles like that. But those are rare, and depending again on how much watt the station we have. It could be a 10-watt station. Matter of fact, the station I first was general manager of was only a 10-watt station. You know, which was on the FM at that time, and the FM is one of those ways stations that as long as you can have a sight of your signal that's not being blocked, you can receive a signal. And you know, and so there's some other dynamics that and so make radio limited, but internet radio, guys, and then where there's a computer someplace, you can get this program.
The thing about Ferguson USA Hot Talk Radio is that the only limit is how many people share it, which is the important part about podcasts, is that people share it to people that they love.
You know, that's right on time, because I was going to ask about the people, the three of us are talking, but what if somebody else who happen to be a listener, what if they want to ask a question, or while we're on the air now, how might they get the word to us three on the air, or something they might want to know, or something they might want to make our people aware of?
Well, first of all, I place your email address or your phone number on the broadcast itself. It's if they're watching it, they're seeing your phone number right now, and I change that periodically to your email address. Otherwise, you could get in touch with the on Facebook. You can make comments. You can again share and like the posts that we make. Matter of fact, I've had a couple just today for Mr. Fowlkes so far. One was from Nigeria. Somebody actually liked the broadcast. So you can do things like that, and myself or Mr. Ira will know about it.
And then another thing, MC, that's make this so unique. When radio first started, for years, we all had to be in the same room for us to be broadcast. Right now, I'm in Kansas. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. You in Kansas, and on Missouri. So right now, with using the technology that we have through the phone system, we all connected together. Scott called you, and he calls me, and we all just like simple as that.
But
that's why Scott just said, if somebody want to call you right now and ask you a question on the air, just call your number right now. As simple as that. That's why I said, as a matter of fact, we somewhat remiss. Ferguson USA HotTalkRadio.com, has not been around a long time. And one of the things that the station was created, that goes back to the Michael Brown era when a man lost his life in Cedar Ferguson, Missouri, and there was a lot of riots there. For the first time in Cedar, Missouri, we had riots and stuff, and in that time period, there was a lot of change that's taken place from Mr. Brown's death. And one of the good things that came out of his death was this radio station, FergusonHotTalkRadio.com. And because of that, as Scott said, we wanted to have a voice for the community where they could, stuff we talk about here. We look at Russia, a lot of countries around the world. You really can't talk right now like we're talking right now about things. We can talk also about. Talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and your Royal. Well, I can talk right now about St. Louis, Missouri had a bad day yesterday. We lost a baseball game that we thought we were going to win. The Philadelphia Phillies, where St. Louis actually had a meltdown. Now, people here in the St. Louis area had been known for quite a while, for a number of years, Scott, and our bullpen was one of our teams we was having problems with. Well, yesterday, guess what? Now, everybody knows that we have bullpen problems. Because the pitcher that pitched the first 5 and 30 innings was unbelievable. He came out the game, things went south. And he said, why did they go south? Well, nowadays, baseball is a game where these guys throw so hard now, and they can only throw for so many innings. And unfortunately, they don't go 9 innings of baseball. Which is kind of rare nowadays. For a pitcher to go 9 innings, therefore you're a baseball fanatic, okay? So when was the last time you came out on the country Royal South went 9 innings? Can't think of a person off the top of your head. Well, I know
does Scott know anything about baseball or softball? I never hear. Have you ever mentioned sports on the show?
And you probably will not hear me mention sports because that's not my bailiwick, sir.
Okay.
Mine is technology and music.
Oh, you said sports. I'm sorry. Football is for sports.
Yeah.
What's talking about the motorcycle? Will we hear you on that?
You can hear me on my. You betcha. You can hear me on my Can-Am Spider all the time. I love that thing. It's a beautiful ride and a lot of fun.
Okay, Scott, first of all, for those of you who not motorcycle fanatic, who know about motorbikes, how's your bike different from the regular motorcycle?
Well, my motorcycle is a 3-wheeled motorcycle, as you said before, but the thing is that it has 2 wheels in front and 1 wheel in back, which makes it a little unique. Can-Am has had this for about 10 years, maybe a little bit longer, but about 10 years, and mine's got a 1330 cc engine and is electronically balanced, so even a stupid person like myself cannot fall off of it. So it's a wonderful machine. I mean, I get together with other motorcyclists in the Patriot Guard Riders or in other events, and some people like the 2 wheels, some people like the 3 wheels, some people like the 3 wheels with the 2 in back. So, it's just a matter of getting out in the air and what we call as bikers wind therapy. So that's what we like.
Scott, also you somewhat remiss that you guys also be involved with rides that escort some of our people who are down around the country that's coming home.
Well, that's the Patriot Guard. Yes, we honor our fallen soldiers by escorting them to their final resting place. And if you're interested in joining, you don't even have to have a motorcycle. It's just pgr.org. So that's one of the things I do. I maintain my Americanism and my patriotism by doing things like that.
And also, MC, you was a Navy guy and Scott was the Air Force guy.
That's
and
right.
Don't you forget it.
That's right.
Would you do this hour? See if you could reach 816-918-8867.
Hold on, MC. I gotta get my. Once you told me that we did have a guest, I kind of went down and let me get my brightness here.
Well, we like to add people because we like to hear their opinion, what they're doing, and then they broadcast different things. Are you ready for the number?
816?
816-918-8867. And the person we're trying to reach is Mr. Alex Thomas.
Oh, Alex. Oh, yeah, Alex. I ain't talked to him in a month or something. Hold on a second.
See if he's available.
Hold on 1 second here, okay?
Scott, while you on your motorcycle, do you have a radio, or can you listen to music or to news while you're on your motorcycle?
Me, I generally listen to music. My preferred music is Southern gospel music with a good bass part to it. Simply because that's the way I sing, so that's the way I listen. So, but yeah, I can listen to. I have a really good sound system. As a matter of fact, let's see here. No. I have a good sound system. I can listen to pretty much anything. I don't generally listen to talk while I'm on the motorcycle because I'm concentrating on other things. So, but music, yeah, I can listen to music. You betcha.
Are we yet, Aaron?
No, I got his voicemail right away, but I did leave him a message, okay? If possible, give us a call before 6 o'clock, to be part of the program.
Okay. In case you just tune in, we're kind of doing a thing, very down-to-earth show. We got 3 individuals. We can add another one or 2 to tell you about talk radio. Basically, it's talk radio.
Also, MC, you need to tell people about Alex Thomas, who he is.
Alex Thomas is a person. He's been doing radio. He's been a liquor control person in law enforcement. He's been a community person, and he's really has set the tide on insurance. He's been a bounty hunter. He's been all that.
Wow.
We said bounty hunter, but people used to come to him to get bonds to get out of jail. So he's kind of all-around person.
He's a bondsman, they call him.
Right.
He's a bail bondsman.
Exactly.
And plus, he has a nice radio show. I've been on the show a couple of times. He's been on my show a couple of times, but he also has a year to the Kansas City community from the background he just gave him also, by the way. So, I mean, he's a real nice guy.
Well, he says he's a nice guy.
And also, MC, I'd like to while we're doing this, kind of give you a shout out to about MC Richardson, some of the things that he's done, and especially right now, we call it your wife right now, the love of your life, is the Conscious Minority Media Association, based on Yuma, that was created back in almost 50 years ago, am I right?
Right. It was the actual day of incorporation was August of 28, 1974.
Okay, well, you coming up on, 48 years there?
49 years.
49 years, and during that time period, you have given out a little over 100 or some more scholarships, well, probably 1,000 scholarships, to people in the communication industry, which kind of specialize. And in that time, you gave, like I said, a week ago, that you had a unique distinction of saying that in some cases you're giving out scholarships to parents, and now you're not to their children. There's been a generational thing that you've done in Kansas City.
Well, and thanks to you, we have talked to people halfway around the world, and because of radio and the airways and what have you, and through the FCC, we've been able to gain people. We still need to get more minority and women to own vehicles like that. It's just like I've had people say that own beauty shop. If I could get on the radio, the things I could do, of course, they want to increase their business too, and that's a good way of getting the word out. Like a lot of people wait to special events, like they had maybe a month ago, Black Restaurant Week. Well, they had 47 black restaurants in Kansas City, Missouri, and 7 in Kansas City, Kansas. Well, if people don't have a radio, they might not know that. Of course, we have our newspapers too, but a lot of people just don't really know how to reach the various communities. I'll say the black community in this case, but a lot of times you have a drive-by shooting, you sell out all kind of papers. If you have people turn the radio on, if they know something is going on, but then a lot of people don't continue doing that. But a lot of these kids are so into the computers and whatever, and a different type of telecommunication. Both of you might, and not to say that our audience don't know, what type of telecommunication are out there that our youth take advantage of?
Well, you see, one of the things they all take advantage of, is the use of a cell phone. And the beauty of our program on the internet radio, we can be heard on any cell phone. No matter where that cell phone goes, we can be heard on that cell phone. And all they got to do on that is either dial up Ferguson USA, hottalkradio.com, all one word, and tap in that right now. And you hit that, and you automatically link to this program. And you can hear us no matter where you are in the world. And speaking around the world, on our programs, we talk a lot about the global warming. We talk about the chaos in the world as we're experiencing the war in Ukraine. How it's been a world changer for so many people, so many ways, and and how it's one of those things that for many years, okay, we always thought of Russia as being a superpower. Now I think they are still a superpower in terms they have a nuclear weapons, okay, but now in terms of them being a country that can just take on a major country in war, well, Ukraine has found it to be a sleeping tiger almost, and that Ukraine, like a little small armies per se, and that they thought they could take over in a matter of months, and they're going to at least 6 months now. This war is going on, and right now Russia's on the losing end of it. And then also we talk about global warming a lot. The hurricanes that are just hit Florida and North Carolina. Matter of fact, not only did it hit the Carolinas and Florida, it did havoc down in Gulf, Cuba, a lot of other countries down there. And then once it left the Carolinas, it went up the East Coast. And then, low-level hurricanes, high power rains and what have you, did a lot of damage. I mean, it was very deadly. Matter of fact, in Florida alone, it did over at least $65 million worth of damage. And that's a lot of money for repair. And also, we talked about on our program today that it's kind of ironic that the governor of Ron DeSantis of Florida, when he was in Congress, he voted against any city, any state that asked for federal relief from hurricanes, from tornadoes. He just felt no state should get federal finance under no circumstances. And as life would have it, right now, Florida right now is probably going to be one of the one of the largest contributors for the federal government to try and rebuild their state. And I guess, and the good part about this, that President Biden came in without, asking, saying, dirty in your face, which he didn't do. Asked him matter of fact, whatever he asked for, President Biden made sure he got it. And that was in terms of, the Coast Guard, case of the FEMA relief. And I know just from FEMA coming to St. Louis a couple months ago here, they make a whole lot of difference, okay, in trying to get relief out to the people in need of it right away. And that Florida needs relief for quite a Fort Myers is one of the cities that took the blunt, of the hurricane. And so, and in it was a lesson, in building code that in Fort Myers, you can tell it's an older city. It's been there for a while, and most of the buildings, okay, that were built, less than 20, 30 years ago, so they were totally obliterated, wiped out altogether. And the newer buildings, okay, that had different building codes, or ordinances, I should say, either building that was built with steel. They are still standing. They took a lot of damage. And one thing I say on our program, MC, that is, if you've been a Navy man, you can appreciate this. This one boat, which is like a floating hotel, weighs over 6 tons, was picked up, okay, out of the ocean, a couple blocks over into the community. And 6 tons.
Yeah, I was out there, but something that's very hot. All you saying about the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the thing, not the hurricane, I said tornadoes, but earthquakes and et cetera.
Yeah.
But what's on everybody's mind that they're talking about is the mid-term election coming up. And the people, and you have different cities or different areas, they have different months and dates when they hold their particular primary election. But let's get the people. You have to be very sure how important or how essential, and what does your vote mean? Why should you vote?
Well, you should vote, MC. I tell people, no matter who you are, if you don't like what's going on in government, don't complain, because if you don't vote. Matter of fact, right now, I mentioned earlier on about our guest today and worked the census. Well, every 10 years, the census is done, and every state, city in the whole country had to have the boundaries redrawn, and that's the reason is because they're going to divide up the money that you get for your city or for your town. And that depends on, again, on how you vote for people that's in their community to control the distribution of that money. Like in Kansas City, they're going to get X amount of billions of dollars, okay, from the city of Kansas City. And that depends on, the districts, drawn there, how each one of your wards or districts going to be drawn by your councilman there to decide. So if the councilman doesn't give you what you want or do what you want, you can't complain if you didn't vote for that guy or vote for that young lady. And also, in those cases, you have committed people, you have the state reps and state senators, and as well for the governor. So if you don't vote, don't register to vote. The first thing you got to get registered. And in Missouri, you got to register 30 days out in front for the election. So right now, now it's getting close to that time that you need to get registered. And nowadays in Missouri, we have early voting nowadays for the whole state of Missouri. I know here in St. Louis, we have a couple of sites that they put up around the state, around the city, in the county here, and just in the county here, where you can go in early and vote. Absentee, it's not really absentee. It is okay, because you're not sure you're going to be able to vote on election day, and you have to have a lot of excuses. Just go in and vote. And I encourage people to take advantage of that. You know what I mean? So we try to make it as easy as we possibly can for people to get in and vote. Because that's something that's a cherished right to vote. People die for that privilege. So I encourage people, please. MC always talks about me coming from this down that area. Well, I saw how hard people had to go take a test, to make sure they call them poll tests and all that kind of stuff. How many young beat in the jaw, asking a lot of questions and stuff. So I take voting very serious. So I'm glad you brought that. As a matter of fact, also, one of the things that people don't understand, but I should take it back, they do understand if you get into politics, running for office, you come, open yourself up for criticism. And I think gentleman in Florida right now, who's a great football player in college and also in professional football, and also in I guess in high school also, Mr. Herschel Walker, I find himself being torn down, because he decided he wanted to get into politics after probably being a successful businessman. And that's why, people nowadays, you want to be not as quick to get into politics, because you can have your whole life torn apart.
You're talking about Herschel Walker. He was a good friend of Donald Trump, who played for one of Donald Trump's football team when he was in that business. But just taking a step back about the census, which is every 10 years, and depends on the census, how many people live in that particular demographic, is that you can lose elected official, basically a congressperson, if your numbers go down in your particular area.
Well, now we were fortunate this year with this census redistricting that Kansas City kept its black congressman, Daniel Cleaver, because his district was a fight about his district. But our district here in St. Louis, Victoria, Congressman Bush, well, our district was established, okay, by a federal lawsuit. So Missouri had to have, St. Louis had to have one by law. But in Kansas City, they were trying to that district stretched out over to the Ozarks. And the MC, for a fact, the people in Kansas City don't have the same warrants that they have in Ozark.
All right.
This is different night and day, but that was because they were redrawing the district map. And they were trying to take away the district, the black district in Kansas City that's presently, maintained by Mr. Congressman Reverend, Congressman Reverend.
Well, Emmanuel Cleaver, Congressman Cleaver, Reverend Cleaver, at one time he was a humor member, and matter of fact, he will participate in our Midwest Southeast Regional Conference, and we ask all elected officials to do that. Now, crossing the viaduct, Kansas City, Kansas, Shanice Davis, it is in a hard fight with Republicans and also the people, the Secretary of State that seem to be the one that control politics in their given state. They got the same thing, what's going to happen up in Arizona. We have the guy down here is, I guess his father, uncle, whatever, used to be the Secretary of State, but they control the voters.
His father was the former governor
folks, sorry to bother you. We have 5 minutes, folks.
Okay, well, the gentleman you're talking about is Jay Ashcroft. His father's name was the governor of Missouri, and prior to that, he was the auditor for the state of Missouri, and he went on to become a congressman, a senator for Missouri, and then
he was a lieutenant. He was an attorney general and all that.
Right, he wasn't attorney general. He was, I think, he was the auditor. They didn't make an attorney general, but he went on to be the senator of Missouri, and then he was fortunate enough to be picked to be in the Bush administration team as attorney general.
Well, you also had Jack Danford. He was in ambassador, but he's from the St. Louis area, and then people control. I used to sell all the dog food, the Purina dog food up there.
Well, I use him as an example, MC, that people say that in politics, people who have money, okay, like take former President Donald Trump. He was a billionaire, okay, but he didn't get no power once he became president. He got into politics, and like John Danforth, although he's the Ross and Freeland, he was a $1 billion corporation. He did not get any power once he became Senator Danforth. And same thing with the Rockefellers, and like with the Bushes. That once they become in politics, that's when you achieve power, and that's why people run for those offices to become a powerful person.
And that's why it's very essential. We go back to November the 8th. Is that the primary, the general election?
That's the general. It's a midterm general election, and it's a midterm, okay. Because it's midterm for the president, he'd be in office for 2 years. It's midway his term, and that's why they call it a midterm. And so right now we're going to see how that all turns out as we go to the polls. Hopefully, people in Kansas City, matter of fact, the whole state, we encourage you to get out and vote, because again, as I said before, if you don't. Do not be complaining about he did this or I don't like what she said, and this can be at any level, okay? That you can vote for people.
Well, before we close out, we want to talk about these different state reps. They go up, and the Congress people, they up for election every 2 years.
Yeah, right now, Congress people, our state reps, they're up for every 2 years. Our state senators are up every 4 years, and our congressmen are up every 6 years. And
the senators.
Senators every 6 years.
Yeah.
And our congressmen every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
And next cycle, okay, in 2024, Josh Hawley will be up for re-election. Which he probably will not run for re-election. He's probably going to attempt to run for president.
And we got people running for U.S. Senator now, but wanted us to let people know that we hope that you enjoyed the show and learned something. And we want to add more listeners. We want to add more sponsors. We want to add you. Don't worry about the other people. Let's start with you first. And the United Minority Media Association will hold a Midwest Southeast Conference on December the 3rd, which is my birthday, here in Kansas City at Bruce R. Watkins. And we allowed Mr. Scott to close out last week. He did a good job. Your turn, Mr. Our folks.
Well, MC, I'm surprised you didn't say that on your conference. That's also your birthday. You'll be 83 years old.
That's right.
And don't you forget it.
Now, hold on, Ira. If some young women are listening, I'm not quite that age.
Okay, I'm sorry. 38, you 38 years
old. Yeah, turn it
around. He'll be 38 years old. And we want to thank him for letting me be a part of the program today. My name is Aaron Fowlkes, Liberty Commerce. That's Scott Owens, FergusonUSAauthority.com. Also with Liberty Commerce. And listen, Richmond, lunch.
If they want to reach me, call 816-822-8866. And we allowed you, Mr. Scott, to talk a long time on this radio show. So we'll let you work with and close the show out. You did a good job last Saturday.
Thank you so much. You can listen to Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City right here on Ferguson USA Hot Talk Radio on the Facebook page, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, anywhere you can get your podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You have a great night.